It's time for a spelling analysis. All right, our first word is chimney. Black smoke was pouring out of the chimney. Go ahead and say chimney. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell chimney. What will we say to spell? Chimney. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is chim. Ch, e, m. The second syllable is knee. N, e. Look at this. It's an A-E. Go ahead and write chimney. Make sure you use A-E. Sound it out as you write it. It's a big part of how you'll master the spelling of these words. Good. Excellent. Now help me to write it. The first syllable is chim. Ch, e, m. The second syllable is knee. N, e. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the ch and the e. What sound of A-E do we hear in chimney? You're right, the second sound. Let's read it. Ch, e, m, n, e. Chimney. Outstanding. The next word is straws. Could we get a few straws to use with our drink? Straws. Go ahead and say straws. Good. Now let's sound it out together. S, t, aw. 2-letter aw that you may use at the end of English words. Z. Straws. What kind of z? You're right, it's a z because this is a plural. Straws. Go ahead and write straws. Sounding it out. Good, help me to write it. S, t, aw, and then z. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the ah. And what sound of z do we hear? The second. Good, let's read it. S, t, ah, z. Straws. Okay, I have a question for you. If we remove the s, what do we get? Straw. We have one straw. And notice we use 2-letter ah that you may use at the end of English words. We couldn't use the other kind of ah because it would have been at the end. And then, what's the rule? To make a noun plural, just add s. Unless the word hisses or changes, then add es. This word does not hiss and it does not change, so we just added s. Excellent. The next word is gasp. I heard a loud gasp because she was so surprised. Gasp. Or I think she made a gasp for air. It's a sound, gasp. Go ahead and say gasp. Let's sound it out. G-a-s-p. Got it? Go ahead and write gasp. Good. And help me to write it. G-a-s-p. And let's read it. Gasp. Gasp. The next word is pretty. The little girl is very pretty. Go ahead and say pretty. How many syllables in pretty? 2. Now listen carefully. We will say to spell pret-ty. What will we say to spell? Pret-ty. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is pret. P-r-e-t. The second syllable is t. T-e. Use a y, I-e. Go ahead and write pret-ty. It's a little strange, I agree. And help me to write it. The first syllable is pret. P-r-e-t. The second syllable is t. T-e. And how will we mark it? What sound of y, I-e do you hear in pretty? The fourth. That's right. Now, it's saying it's e sound at the end of a multi-syllable word. Now, what about this eh? We actually say pretty, eh. So this here is an exception, but we will say to spell pretty to help us remember it. It'll give us kind of an auditory picture for this word, or a picture for our ears. Let's sound it out. P-r-e-t-y. Pretty. Good. The next word is sweater. I am wearing a warm sweater when it gets cold outside. Sweater. Go ahead and say sweater. How many syllables in sweater? Two, we will say to spell sweat, What will we say to spell sweat, All right, let's sound it out. The first syllable is sweat, s-w-e, use an E at A, t. The second syllable is use the of her. Go ahead and write sweat, Sound it out as you write it. Excellent. Now help me write it. Sweat, s-w-e-t. The second syllable is And how will we mark it? We'll underline the e. What sound of E, F, A do we hear? That's right, we hear the second e. And we'll underline the Let's read it. S-w-e-t, sweater. Do you see something interesting about this word? What happens if we take the off? We get the word sweat. Like when you're hot, you sweat. And a sweater, maybe it makes you sweat. The next word is build. Let's build a house outside. Build. That was a silly sentence. How about if we build a sand castle? Build. Go ahead and say build. Let's sound it out. B. Oh, it's a two-letter B. I-L-D. Go ahead and write build. Sound it out. Good. Now help me to write it. B-I-L-D. And how do we mark it? We underline the two-letter B. Check to make sure you used two-letter B. Let's sound it out. B-I-L-D. Build. Now I have a question. Why is it not biled? I-N-O may say I-N-O before two consonants. Does it always? Nope, but it may. The next word is barrel. The barrel rolled down the hill. Barrel. Can you say barrel? How many syllables in barrel? Two. We will say to spell barrel. What will we say to spell? Barrel. All right, let's sound it out. The first syllable is bear. B-a-r. The second syllable is rel. R-e-l. Go ahead and write barrel. You've got it. Excellent. And help me to write it. The first syllable is bear. B-a-r. The second syllable is rel. R-e-l. Let's read it. B-a-r-r-e-l. Barrel. And this one is tricky for me from Minnesota. Once again, we say flag instead of flag instead of flag, bag instead of bag, and barrel instead of barrel. So if you saw me struggling to pronounce that one, that's because of where I grew up and where I live. And there might be some words where you struggle to pronounce them exactly how they're spelled, the same way. That's just part of dialect, but it'll help you understand other people as they're speaking too, and it'll help you understand why they're read and spelled that way. The last word is mattress. He hid some money under his mattress. Go ahead and say mattress. How many syllables in mattress? Two. We will say to spell mat-ress. What will we say to spell? Actually, let me correct that. We will say to spell mat-tress. Can you say that with me? Mat-tress. Excellent. The first syllable is mat. M-a-t. The second syllable is tress. T-r-e-s-s. Go ahead and write mat-tress. That's right. You've got it. Sound it out carefully as you write it. Mat-tress. Good. And help me to write it. The first syllable is mat. M-a-t. The second syllable is tress. T-r-e-s-s. Okay, question. Why did we double the S? You're right. We often double F, L, or S after a single short or broad vowel. And there it is. It's its short vowel. Let's read it. M-a-t-r-e-s-s. Mattress. Outstanding. Great work today.
Combining the science of reading with the joy of learning. Learn more at foundations.logicoфenglish.com.